In this video, we're gonna go over the basics of barebow weight setup, where you would wanna put them on your bow, and the type of balance you're looking for to start, and some things that you should look out for as you start to shoot it more and more. That way you'll be able to dial in your barebow for your own setup and be able to hopefully shoot higher scores or at least have a lot more fun shooting barebow. So this is the first video in the new studio, with the exception of showing you it being built. I've already done a little bit of improvements. First of all, it's moving things in, so excuse the mess. Nothing has been put away, everything has just been moved in here. And secondly, I've started putting some acoustic dampening stuff around. Yes, the audio is still not perfect, there's a little bit of an echo. It will go away. I have a lot of stuff that I'm working on. I ended up biting the bullet and buying the acoustic panels that I want, and I'll be putting them up all around in different areas. I've already got a section up on the ceiling I'll show you here. It's pretty cool, actually. It looks nice. And I'm gonna put some on the walls on either side of me, a little bit up there, and I need some on the wall that the sound is bouncing off of primarily. Right now I haven't stuck them on the walls because I want to make a cool design with them and lay them out first. I haven't done that yet. I appreciate the patience with the transitionary period here between being a little bit messy as well as having the audio not perfectly dialed in. And thank you everybody who has supported the channel to get to this point, because we're here. This is great. Let's get into this. How to set up your barebow for barebow shooting, right? Everybody has stabilizer weights or weights you can put on the actual bow directly on the riser, not stabilizer weights, because you can't use a stabilizer in barebow archery. So yeah, I'm gonna cover this really quick. We're gonna start here. Yes, there's a sight block on this bow. I just used this bow for how to adjust and set up your sight. I mounted it on this bow because it was easy for me to grab, and it was set up right away and it was strung and ready to go. So ignore the sight block, I'm sorry about that. But the reason that we add weights at all to these risers is because you want to prevent this from happening. Right there. That's what you don't like and what you don't want. And the reason is because if the bow naturally wants to lean back this way when you hold it in the grip area and just kind of let the bow go, that means when you're at full draw and you go to shoot, the bow's gonna go rock back and hit you in the head. I had it happen the first time I shot a recurve riser without a stabilizer sight on. I cut the string loose and the bow whacked me in the top of the head. Not fun, not ideal. And also, why we add weights is more mass weight tends to resist movement. So if you start to have a little bit of shaking going on, you're getting nervous, the tournament's important, or you're in the backyard and you're wanting to shoot a personal best, or you're just having fun with your buddies, the more steady you can hold the bow, chances are the better off you'll be. So more mass weight within reason will tend to make you shoot better because it's heavier, it resists movement more, so as the wind's blowing and things like that, it can help resist the effects of outside influences, whether that be from you or the actual environment. There is a caveat to this though. You can get too heavy to the point of the bow becomes unruly and you're just unable to control it. Obviously, shoulder fatigue. And then the negative aspect in the wind is when the wind is blowing, if I were to be aiming at you, the wind's blowing, a big gust comes, now it takes me a lot more energy to move it back in because it weighs a lot more. So just keep that in mind. You do have to find the right balance. But the main principle is to eliminate this from happening. Now, before I go any further, I must say that if you're not familiar with the rules of barebow, I would recommend reading the rule book from World Archery. The main deal that has to happen in order for this barebow to be deemed legal for barebow competition, first of all, not have a sight block. Second of all, it has to fit through a ring. It's a 12.2 centimeter centimeter ring, that's a diameter of this ring, and your bow has to pass through it completely. Your plunger, your arrow rest, your riser, and importantly, your weights. It must pass through there. You can rock it back and forth and get creative with how you get it through the ring, but the ring has to pass over the bow in order for you to be deemed legal to compete. So the first place to start is one of two places. You can either buy Barebow specific weights, which are in one large chunk, or it is legal to use stackable weights. And you can use standard, archery stackable weights that come in 1 ounce increments up to 4 ounce increments or more, depending on the company that you're running with. You can get them drilled and tapped in 5/16 24, which is right here, because that would be able to screw directly into the riser. And then you can adjust with 1 ounce stacks. Now, the same thing still applies. Those stacks of weight have to pass through the Barebow ring in order for it to be legal. So that's one of two places to start. The reason why I might suggest starting with this here, the stackable weight system, is because if you have been shooting recurve archery or compound archery and you're transitioning into Barebow, chances are you already have these. And so it's easy for you to just grab and try and set something up. Plus, it's adjustable, whereas this obviously isn't, unless you wanted to drill out holes to make it lighter, which then it kind of ruins the weight itself. So this is like a 12 or 15 ounce weight. It's a fair amount of weight, but it's in one chunk. And going from no weight on your riser to 12 ounces on your riser is a huge jump. Even this here is 6, 7, 8 ounces plus the screws, so maybe 8.5, 9 ounces in total here. Roughly the same package, obviously a little bit smaller, but you get the picture. You'll be able to adjust this one you can't. Now, those solid chunks from certain companies are a little bit more affordable than these individual stacks because machine time costs money. So you end up paying for it in the long run. Okay, so now I've kind of given you the real basics on the actual weight options. There are more behind me that I'm going to show you as this video progresses. But what the main thing that you're looking for is to have that bow, when you let go of it, to be approximately vertical with the string. This is my wife's Barebow. This has the maximum amount of mass weight that she's capable of handling. And when I let go of the grip, it does still rock back. You can see how it rocks back. I don't know, maybe 5, 7, 10 degrees, somewhere in that neighborhood. It's more than I personally like, but this is all that she's capable of handling and managing without being too fatigued and having, shoulder fatigue by the end of a training session, an end of a practice session, right? So what we've got down here is 9 ounces mounted on the bottom of the riser, on the bottom pocket. Now the reason that it's down here and not up in the stabilizer pocket is when you have it up here, you'll see that when I let go of the bow here, see how much more angle it has? Now we're talking 15 plus degrees. So the same weight in a different spot on the riser makes a considerable difference. So that's why we've got her with the heaviest weight she can manage, and it's on the lower pocket, so it acts to hold the bow more vertical for her and work better with her to have the bow be more comfortable to shoot and more accurate. Now, down in the bottom pocket's not ideal. I've covered a video before on why I don't like putting weight down here and not up here. It has to do with riser flex and reaction times and things like that. Not necessarily important, because I think bow balance and comfort are way far, more of an important thing to deal with rather than riser flexing and effects dynamically on the shot itself. Plus, it's consistent every single shot because the weight stays in the same place and it's the same weight, so arguably it probably doesn't really do anything because you compensate for it otherwise. Sorry, we're getting a little bit into the weeds here, but I just really wanted to explain that, especially if there's people out there that have watched a lot of my videos in the past. So that is where and why we have started like this setup with my wife's bow. Again, not ideal, but it's the best we can possibly do within the parameters that we have. But we want to give her as much of an advantage as possible as, for her to be comfortable, right? Now, this is my Barebow set up pretty much how I like it. I have 2 different weights here on the bow itself, as you can see. Watch where my bow balance is. I've even got it angled back a little bit towards me already. It actually is rocking forward ever so slightly. I'm not holding onto the bow, I'm not manipulating it at all, but you can see it's actually angled forward. This really makes the bow feel a whole lot better. It won't rock back and kick you in the head as you let go of the string. And it's just overall, it balances better for me and feels a lot more comfortable, and I get to aim really, really steady. I've got a lot of mass weight on this system, but when I shot Olympic style recurve, I shot with a lot of weight. My bow was fairly heavy. I don't remember the mass weight exactly, 7 pounds, somewhere in that neighborhood, fairly heavy. I basically have just emulated that. It is heavy, my arm is tired already, I'm not gonna lie. But the bow shoots really, really well for me. Obviously I have two weights, two different style weights on the, the standard stabilizer mount as well as a lower pocket mount. So, I'm just, again, using everything to my advantage to give myself the best balance that I can possibly get out of this system. Again, I would like to say vertical is a really excellent starting point, but because my bow rocks forward, it feels even better for me. You may not be able to get to this point without having a specific weight setup, and I have a considerable amount of weight here. I have like 17 ounces down here, and I think this is all brass. I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 something ounces. So I've got almost 40 ounces on this bow to help balance it how I would, but it does hold extremely well. So that's the basic idea of what you're really looking for as far as a starting point of where you want the bow to balance and why. And then I'm gonna go through now a bunch of different weight options that are out there on the market that you'll be able to check out and just give you a basic rundown of what is available out there, so that way you can keep an eye out when you're shopping. Okay, so this is a stackable weight system. These happen to be AAE weights. This is a 6 ounce taper stack that kind of ramps up, and then these are 1 ounce stacks at the end that just, you keep threading them down onto the threaded rod here. Very basic, and like I said, fully adjustable, which is a good thing in my opinion. This here is a Yost Barebow weight, as you can see here. Basically, the difference between this one and this one, obviously, this one's solid, this one's not, but more importantly, you'll see that the hole is mounted off center. What that does is it allows you to essentially swing the weight back and forth like this to get a slightly different balance at full draw. What you would want to do is essentially try to either fix a problem, such as the bow is canting this way, so if you kind of move the weight this way, it would help pull that bow more vertical, so you can rotate that weight and shift it over that way and potentially hold the bow more vertical. Or maybe when you're at full draw, you notice the sight pin, your arrow, is really having a hard time and it wants to always kind of sit on the right side of where you want to aim. While potentially swinging that weight to the left to help pull you back to the center might be a good idea. However, I've not at all set these up other than just hanging straight down. Something that you need to be concerned of is when you're putting these on, you want to put them on in the same place. You want to know where you're putting them on. And I can't tell you how many times that I've coached somebody in Barebow working on their form or even their equipment, their Yost weight or their adjustable weights are slid off to one side like that. At first, I would ask them, why is your weight, off center? Is there a sight picture you're looking for or anything? And every single time so far, they've responded with, oh, I didn't know. And I said, oh, okay, so now my new question is, are you aware that your weight is clocked incorrectly? It's not just straight down, it's off to one side or the other. And they basically always reply with, oh no, I just threw it on the bow and I didn't even realize that it was adjustable. So just keep in mind, if you don't know what you're doing, go straight down or stick with a very basic one. This is more of an advanced one. They do have solid ones, not Yost, but some other companies where the hole is dead in the center, so you can't make it eccentric like this. The next style of weight is actually was given to me by this company. It's called Thunderstruck Archery. Very similar to the Yost weight. It is eccentrically mounted, as you can see here. They have their logo on the front too. Same type of thing. Theirs is made out of brass. Yost does have some brass versions. They have different weights as well. So does this company, smaller and larger. So not only can you adjust it this way, you can also make them two pieces and clock them differently like this. So it's kind of cool. There's a pin inside and a bunch of different holes here. So you can clock them at different amounts to spread the weights out and do different things. Is it important? Is it useful or not? It's a cool gig. Cool gag. But this one here, I have it just set up straight. Again, this one's for Thunderstruck. It's a lot bigger and heavier and made of brass, and that's why I have it on my bow in this configuration at the moment. The next option is OEM plus options, or OEM options, basically. This here, obviously, is a Hoyt Barebow weight. This is a Hoyt Exceed, and they happen to work together in conjunction. You unbolt the plate that's on one of the sides here, and you literally pass the weights through the riser and the spacers, and bam, you bolt it in place onto the riser, and it sandwiches the riser in a plate, you know, plate on each side. Fits within the Barebow ring, and it gives you a massive amount of weight. Also adjustable, made of aluminum, made of steel, and anywhere from like, I think 15-ish ounces up to 50-something ounces is what you have the ability within their system to make adjustments to. A lot of OEM plus stuff options are out there, like Gilo has some options, and I'm sure there are other options out there. Forgive me for not knowing them. And you know, while we're at it, if you know of other options that I've missed, or you know, have other suggestions or ideas to people, comment below, let other people know. A lot of people are starting to use this channel as a resource to kind of bounce ideas off each other and use this to research what they should be doing on their own as well. So I would encourage everybody to be as active as possible down below in the comment section. It actually helps this channel out, but more importantly, in my opinion, it helps the community of archery out. And you know, I want to create a good resource for people to reference when they would like to find out more information. And the last option that I have here behind me is totally custom, totally awesome. It's just maybe a little bit too heavy for me at the moment, and that's why I haven't used it a whole lot, but it is pretty neat. And I have Thomas to thank for this one. It's my very own I Am weight. It is huge, it's made out of stainless, and it's designed specifically for this ATFX, where the two holes are in the exact same configuration and angles to where I could bolt it onto the front of the riser here like this. And it would span between the two mounting points, the two stabilizer joints, and it fits well within the Barebow ring. It has a very interesting effect on vibrational properties of the bow. And you know, overall, it's just really cool, and I appreciate this. This is one of the things that somebody has sent to me in my PO box, because they had something cool, they made something cool, personalized it for me, which is even cooler, and then sent it over. So big thanks to Thomas, I appreciate this. Sorry I'm not using it, it's just a little heavy, plus, you know, I've been working on a lot of other little things here or there and just haven't had the time. Now, I did talk about how this affected vibrational properties slightly, and that is something that has changed officially in World Archery's rulebook, is you can now use vibration dampeners between the weights and the bow itself. So you can have that added benefit of reducing some vibration, and in my opinion, more importantly, reducing some of that loud, harsh, horrible sounds that some of the Barebows do have out there. And you know, I think overall, in my opinion, this is good for the sport, good for Barebow, because more people will get into it, less people will be, I don't know, cringing, I guess. Because when I would shoot with people and field archery and shoot next to the Barebows on the practice range, I would wait for them to shoot their arrow before I even came to full draw, because I just simply couldn't shoot next to them due to the sound that their bows were making. It was just too startling. So I think, in my opinion, the vibration reduction is not only going to enhance people's abilities to continue to do this long term by reducing vibration input into the human system, but ultimately I think because of the lowered sound levels, it's going to bring more people into Barebow, and I think that's an excellent, excellent thing for Barebow. I'm super excited and super passionate about Barebow. I'd love to spend some more time shooting, and now that I'm here, now that the studio's built and progress is being made, I'll finally have some more time to do that. There are some adjustments that you can make to your Barebow system that will help hold you even more steady, or help you hold even more steady rather. And I'm going to do that in the next video. I'm going to show you what you can do to adjust the system of the bow without even adding any more weight or removing any more weight, and make the bow work with you a lot better and allow you to be much more precise and a lot more comfortable while shooting your Barebow. That video will come out next. That'll come out on Saturday. Like I said, when I debuted the new studio, I made an announcement. I am now going to upload on a schedule. Every Thursday and Saturday, I will be uploading content. This video is hitting Thursday, and the video that I'm teasing right now is gonna hit on Saturday. So if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you're notified when I do upload this new content. Like I said, I'm back at it full time again, and I'm more excited to bring you content than ever.